Hello everyone and welcome to the video. Today I'm going to be discussing a very important and often overlooked topic and linking kidney disease with vitamin A. So I'm going to be deeply diving into what vitamin A is, the breakdown and passageways of vitamin A, the benefits of vitamin A and potential risks and could lead to toxicity. So I'm going to show you how to manage vitamin A intake safely. I'm going to also show you the foods that contain vitamin A, and yeah, let's get into it. So what is vitamin A? Vitamin A is a fat-soluble vitamin, which means it's stored in the liver and in body fat rather than being flushed out like water-soluble vitamins such as your vitamin B and vitamin C. There's two main types of vitamin A. So one is retinol, which is found in animal-based foods such as like your dairy, your fish, and your meats. The other is provitamin A carotenoids, which we all heard of beta carotene before, I'm sure, which is found in your vegetables, especially orange and leafy green ones. So your carrots and your sweet potatoes would be your orange vegetables, and your kale and your spinach would be your leafy greens. So when your mom said to you when you're younger that eating carrots would improve your vision, she wasn't lying about that. So cell growth, vision, and immune function are very good benefits from vitamin A. Cell growth is extremely important after you get a kidney transplant, as your body's just diminished from when you had kidney failure, and you're promoting your new cell growth again. So the problem with this, with after transplants, is your diet. You're recommended a very low fat diet. I'm not completely against that, but you need dietary fat to absorb these vitamins. So let's see how we can manage that. All right, so then we get into this diagram. So this diagram illustrates how beta carotene is broken down into your system and broken down into compounds, in plant-based food, and is metabolized into various forms of vitamin A derivatives. So as we have here, we have our beta. You can't see my mouse now, I don't know, but we have our beta carotene oxygenase 1. So this is broken down into the body and it produces retinol, which is the form of vitamin A we spoke about earlier. And this is the beta carotene oxygenase 2. So this does not break down into retinol. As we see here, it breaks down into beta iodine compounds, and also break down into B-apocarotenoids. Okay, so what does this mean for us kidney transplant patients? So, well, when we have kidney transplants, our retinoid metabolism is altered. The kidney plays a crucial role in the metabolism and excretion of the vitamin A compounds. After transplant, this regulation can be disrupted. So the high levels of retinoid can accumulate, especially if the patient supplements with vitamin A or consumes too much through diet. This can be toxic for us and can lead to many complications. It can lead to bone disease, liver stress, and hypervitaminosis A. So we'll also get into that there later, the causes and the symptoms of that. Additionally, certain immunosuppressive drugs post-transplant, like tacrolimus, was rumored for years to be the cause of high levels of vitamin A in kidney transplant patients. But as I go on to the next slide, it shows it's not really the case. This is why transplant patients are often recommended to get vitamin A through safe foods. Like I said earlier, we have our sweet potatoes, we have our carrots, we have our leafy greens, rather than supplementation. It's not really recommended. So yeah, let's go on to the next slide. Okay, on to the next slide is your kidney function and your vitamin A metabolism. I don't really know I have this graph here first, but we can briefly talk about it. So vitamin A is absorbed through your small intestine, goes down here with the chloromicron remnants into the liver. The liver stores the vitamin A as something called retinol esters and is produced into ROL when needed. So then it goes through the body into placenta, and this placenta stores vitamin A for embryonic development up into the eye. So this takes up by via this STRA6 to support vision into the kidney, where ORL is absorbed again and back down to the liver. So back to the presentation: kidney function and vitamin A metabolism. So the kidney can help regulate and eliminate excess vitamin A from the body. But after transplant, when your kidney function still may not be as good as it should be, the vitamin A can lead to an accumulation of vitamin A into the body. So this means that excess vitamin A, especially from supplements or certain foods, can accumulate in the body. In addition, liver enzymes, particularly from the cytochrome P450 family, help break down vitamin A, but these enzymes can be influenced by medications like tacrolimus. I said that last slide that we are going to get into that, but it's probably the next slide, I think it is. So, which is used to The tacrolimus is used to prevent transplant rejection. So between reduced clearance and altered metabolism, transplant patients can build up vitamin A without even realizing it. So it's often the symptoms of vitamin A is often in silence. So this was a slide I was looking for about tacrolimus not being linked to the excess of vitamin A in kidney patients. So kidney failure patients, there was a study found where 50% of them had elevated vitamin A levels. So as we see, this research here, what the research says, this study from Oxford took two groups, and both had kidney transplants. One had a higher EGFR than the other. Both groups were on similar medications, including tacrolimus, but with the group with a lower EGFR, as I said, with the reduced kidney function, had significantly higher levels of vitamin A in the blood, as we see here. You can't see my mouse, but I can actually do this here in 2 seconds. As we see here, this is the group with the reduced. This is the group. Group two is the group with reduced kidney function. As you see here, they have 3 in the blood, which makes simple, and this one has 2.5 in the blood. So this tells us that impaired kidney function has a direct impact on vitamin A accumulation. It often also confirms that the medications, as I said, the tacrolimus is not linked. Well, tacrolimus alone isn't the reason for high vitamin A. It's really the filtration capacity of the kidneys. So even with supplements, a patient's level can climb, which is why regular monitoring is so important. As we get into the next slide. Okay, so now let's get into our safe sources of vitamin A. I don't have these down, but I can talk about first our dairy, meat, fish, eggs, butter, liver. These are all retinol types of vitamin A. So they're already in the active form. They can raise your vitamin A levels very quickly and potentially could be dangerous if consumed in excess. So now we have our carrots, our sweet potato, and our pumpkin. These are like our orangey vegetables which contain the beta carotene that we spoke about earlier, and our leafy greens here, the spinach and the kale, which can contain provitamin A. So why is plant-based consumption recommended? So the conversion process itself is self-regulated, meaning your body won't take more than it needs. That's why plant-based sources are much more recommended, especially for people with impaired kidney function. So now we have our recommended daily intake. So it's 900 micrograms for males and 700 micrograms for women, with an upper limit of 3,000 micrograms. So this is for a normal functioning male and female. But like for a person with a kidney transplant, I wouldn't personally. I have my app here. I can put in what I consume in the day, and it can give me all whatever vitamins, how much like on the daily recommended allowance I'm like on. So I wouldn't consume more than I'd stick around the 900 micrograms for myself. If I feel like a bit nauseated, headaches, anything, I'd reduce it maybe by 200 micrograms. But it's generally not the case that I'm leading to toxicity of vitamin A. But the 3,000 micrograms, like I've seen videos online lately of people just like talking so much about like the vitamin A's, like spamming carrots, as I said. But that isn't recommended long term, really. It can lead to hypervitaminosis, which is not something you really want at all. So let's go on to the next slide. So now I'm going to get into my case study I did and supplementation. The case study is completely made up, by the way. But so as we see here, these are the vitamin A toxicity and side effects. So you can get your fracture risk, you can get dizziness, nausea, vomiting, skin irritation. Normally you get very dry skin from if you consume too much vitamin A, and headache and liver damage. All right. Yeah. So now we're going to get into a really real scenario that I did about John. He had a kidney transplant 3 years ago. He's 52 years of age. His kidney function was we're going to say 60. His GFR was 60 after his transplant, which is very good. But John's diet wasn't so good. So in his bloods, he felt a bit fatigued, we're going to say, and the dietitian or the doctor looked across the board of John's results and saw he was depleted in, let's say, vitamin D, and everything else just wasn't really hitting what it should be. It wasn't levels that it should have been. So they recommended him a multivitamin. First, he reported to have slight fatigue. Like, say he had a transplant, he had a appointment in 3 weeks' time, but he said, I'm just going to wait till it's just probably nothing. Like maybe I'm not getting enough sleep, maybe my diet isn't too good or whatever. He's going to wait for his next appointment, basically. So 1 week before the appointment, John rang up the doctor, and he had severe joint pain, dry skin, nausea, and headaches. So the doctor said, That's not good at all. This could sound like an episode of rejection or something." So they brought him in immediately into the hospital, and his blood work showed that he had elevated levels of vitamin A. So the doctor said to him, "Look, everything else is fine on the blood work. Like your creatinine's fine, your GFR is perfectly normal. All these levels are normal. You just see an excess of vitamin A in your blood." So he stopped it. They recommended him to stop his multivitamin, and John felt better after that. Okay, so now I'm going to be talking about how to monitor your bloods safely. So when you're consuming any supplementation, like your healthcare team should be aware of it, and you shouldn't even take it if it's not recommended to you, really. So you can have your routine blood test, and it can help catch high levels early. When we have transplants, we get our bloods done very often, but this is for normal people. Just get your bloods done. I say like every 6 months, really, will be fine, just to catch anything that might be coming into your system. So only supplement when recommended. This is genuinely for the kidney transplants, kidney recipients. So like I wouldn't like some people might be taking, I don't know, let's say magnesium or something, which can lead to just it won't be good for you. Okay, so now we have our conclusion to wrap up. Um, the last few slides I talked about how important that vitamin A is, the benefits it has, especially after a kidney transplant. Um, you really want to be promoting that cell growth and keep the maintenance of your immune system. When you have the immunosuppressive agents, it can deplete your immune system and can lead to other risks in your body. But it's the best approach for this really is to keep a balanced, moderate diet. Focus really on whole foods. Avoid supplements unless you are medically advised to, and get your bloods done regularly. Okay, so thank you so much for watching. I hope you found this very informative and educational.